Okay. Good morning, all of you. We'll start the session. I hope you are able to hear me. If any problem is there, please let me know. Just to continue from where we left yesterday, we started discussing yesterday about the basic configuration required for the push method. We also try to understand what is push method. Basically, push method is one of the planning methods what we are using in IS Retail. We have got two planning methods. One is the pull method and one is the push method. In the case of push method, we are going to plan everything at the head office level. We will decide what articles we are going to push, what quantity, and then we plan to purchase that quantity of article from the external vendor. But once we receive the article and the quantity at the distribution center, we need to distribute the articles to the store. This distribution is planned according to an allocation table. Okay? So allocation table basically controls the entire process of push method. Okay? So the starting point in the planning of the push method is we need to create first a allocation table. Okay? In the table, we are going to enter what are the articles, what are the quantities we are planning. The allocation table will have two dates. Okay? The date on which the article should be received at the DC and the date by which articles should be received at the store level. Okay. And then we enter the site group, what we created yesterday, and then based on that, system will determine what are the stores for which we are planning the distribution. But in what proportion or what quantity we are going to distribute the article is decided by an allocation rule. Okay. So we are going to enter the allocation rule also in the allocation table. Based on that, it will determine the site group, and for them, it will do the allocation. So this is a starting point in the planning, what we are going to use. So at this point of time, we are ready with the allocation table type and also allocation rule type. We are in a position to create the allocation rule. Okay? But while creating allocation rule, we have to enter the site group. Okay? The site group also we have prepared yesterday, and that site group we are going to use in our allocation rule. Now let us assume we are planning for two articles. For both these articles, we should maintain the proper data for the distribution profile. Okay? At this point of time, we have got article 181, which we initially did with cross-dock method. Okay? We will also now use 182 also with cross-dock. Okay? So both articles we are using with the cross-dock, and then we will use them in our allocation process. So let me first go to MM42. And then try to select logistic DC and then change the data what I previously maintained. Of course, we can do one article with the cross-dock, one article with the flow-through, no issue. But for the continuity purpose, I'm selecting 182. So let me go to logistic DC, and over here I'm going to check the planning profile that we need to maintain. So FT2 is what we are given here. Of course, it can remain as it is, but let me change it to CD cross-dock. Article 181 is already maintained with the cross-dock. So let me replace it as CD1. And then default storage location we already have maintained. So let me save it. Now, first step is to create a allocation rule. Okay. The allocation rule, I can create it in two ways. Either I can create the rule for the MC. In that case, whatever articles we are using for the MC, the rule will apply. Okay. Or we can also specifically maintain a allocation rule for each of the articles. Okay. But we will use the MC as the criteria based on which we are going to create the allocation rule. So what is the MC for this? S3 is the MC. Okay, so for S3, I'm going to create a sort of a allocation rule. Okay, because before I create allocation table, I should be ready with the allocation rule. So step 1, create the allocation rule. Create the allocation rule for MC merchandise category as ES3. So to create this particular allocation rule, we go to logistics, select the retailing, and then we are selecting merchandise logistics, distribution. I am selecting merchandise distribution, and then we are going to select here the allocation rule. Okay. WA21 create is the transaction to create the rule. WA21. Now, whenever you want to create a rule, I want to use the rule type. Okay. So let me select the rule type, what I configured yesterday. So allocation rule type, we are going to select here ZS01, what we created yesterday, and then purchase group is SSS, purchase group is 001. This is required because later we are going to create the purchase order. So purchase organization and purchase group are required. We are entering. Now, allocation rule, when I save, it will give a number. Either I can create it for article or I can create it for EMC. So EMC is going to be ES3. Now, either you can enter the main site group. If you have a hierarchy, you have a site group, under that we have got base hierarchy site group. Okay, but we are dealing with one level of hierarchy, so we are directly going to base site group. Okay, base site group is what we create using the classification. Yesterday we created a site group. I think it was ZS1. Let me see whether it's available. So class type, using the class type as 030. Okay, 030. Site. So we have got ZS1 site group for allocation, what we created yesterday. We will select it and then enter. Once we enter the site group, what it will do? It will find out how many stores are there in this particular site group. And for them, initially it will fix up a quota, equal quota. Okay, that means whenever we do the allocation, the articles are distributed equally. Okay, but due to some reason, maybe some stores will sell more or some stores will not sell that much. So you have some idea. Okay, we can vary this quota. But once you vary the quota and then save it, the quota cannot be changed again. Okay, it's a one-time activity. Okay, so first let us find out in this site group what are the stores and what is the quota for that. Okay, so select details button. Based on the site group, it has found out there are two stores, S001 and S002. At this point of time, the quota is equal. Okay, but let's say S002 will always sell double the quantity of S001. So what will happen? The quota can be made as 2:1. Okay. So if there are 600 pieces for allocation, 400 will go to S001 and 200 will go to S002. Okay. So that is the allocation process. So let me say the quota is going to be 2:1. Okay. To be able to add and delete the sites or change quota, you have to fix the allocation rule. Okay. Do you really want to fix it? Yes. Okay. You fix the particular quota 2:1, and then come back and then save the allocation rule. So now the rule will specify for the MC S3, whatever articles I have in S3, this rule will be applicable, and it will determine two stores, and for that we are given the quota. Okay. So after having created the allocation rule, okay, which is 1, okay, I now need to create the next important data, allocation table. Okay. Step 2, create the allocation table. Create the allocation table. For this, we have maintained yesterday a table type. Okay, so we're going to use the particular table type and then create the allocation table. Select allocation table, W801, create. Okay. So transaction code is W801. So select W801. Now, as I explained in the beginning, the table will start with two important dates. Okay, date on which we are going to receive the articles to DC. So that will decide the delivery date for the external purchase order. Okay, because we are going to use the table as the basis for creating the external order as well as stock transfer order. Okay, for external order, DC delivery date will become the delivery date, and for stores we are going to enter the store delivery date. That will become the delivery date for the store orders, the stock transfer orders. So purchase organization is SSS, purchase group is this, and what is the table type? In our case, the table type is ZS01, what we prepared yesterday, ZS01, ZS01, standard allocation table, and then continue. Now, allocation table, we will say for articles of MC S3. I'm giving some description. Site delivery date. Okay. Now, site is very open statement, but here in this field, the site delivery date means is going to be the store delivery date. Okay, and DC is going to be the distribution center delivery date. Okay. Let me say DC delivery date is going to be let us say 8th of April, okay, 8th of April, or let us say 9th of April, and 7th we want the articles to be delivered at the DC level, okay. So 9th of April, okay, we'll give 9th of April, 09/04/2050 is the, okay, this is the store delivery date. Store delivery date is 09, and then DC delivery date is going to be 07/04/2050. So based on this, system will be able to fix the delivery date, and that means we are giving 1 day gap for processing the articles in the distribution center. Now, what articles you want to enter? Okay. Now, you can enter the articles directly here. Also, there is a selection process for the article. Okay. In the beginning, I can enter a MC, and based on the MC, system will show me what are the articles available for that particular MC. I can copy those articles into my allocation table. So we have got so many variations coming in the allocation table. We will discuss all of them. Okay. At this point of time, I'm going to say that I'm entering the articles directly. One of the articles for planning is 181, and we are planning to have the article quantity as 600 pieces, and 182 I'm taking it as, let us say, 800 pieces. So I'm entering two important information here. What is the article and what is the quantity? Okay. The moment you enter the article, the system will determine based on the table what is the item category. You can see here item category C. Okay. In the table type, we are given the item category as C. C means, okay, I forgot to show you the item category. After this, I will show you once I create allocation table. Based on the item category C, in the procurement planning, what it will do? It will create an external order using NB, and then using UB, it is going to create a stock transfer order. That is the basic control for the procurement. Now, you need two things. Okay, this quantity is available for which stores? That means we need to enter the site group. Okay, but we need not enter the site group. All I have to do is enter the allocation rule. Okay, once I enter the rule, it will determine the stores, and for the stores you can do the vendor determination. First we do the vendor determination for DC, and the first store system will automatically determine the internal vendor, that's the distribution center. So now you have to go to the item. Okay, you have got a tab here in the main line for item, select it. In the item, you need to enter what is the allocation rule. Okay, just now we said allocation rule is 1. Enter the allocation rule, and then execute. Okay, execute. Now, what system will do? It will determine what are the stores for which we are going to do the allocation. First entry result, one item selected, one item changed. Okay, so let's see what is the effect of this particular allocation rule. Okay, Now I'll select the DC. Okay. First I selected item, enter the allocation rule, and then select DC. I think we have to do it for both article sites. So let me select 181, 182, and then select the item because it is the item level data. Sometimes each article may have its own allocation rule. Okay, so whatever articles we are going to use, for all of them, you're going to use the particular allocation rule. So the rule is 1 and then execute. Otherwise, it was hanging on the second article, so it did the allocation for that. Okay. So 2 items selected, 1 item changed because 1 article already the quantity was determined. Okay. So for both articles, it has done now site group understanding and for them allocation. Okay. So now I go to DC tab and then vendor determination. Either you can do supply source determination directly. That means it will check the article master and then try to find out who is the external vendor for distribution center. Okay. But if you know specifically the vendor, you can also enter the vendor by selecting this, enter it as V1. Okay. But let us see whether it can do the supply source determination for external vendor. Activate the button and then execute. Now we will first go to each of the article and then try to find out whether store is determined and what is the allocation. So select 181 article and select this particular tab. Okay, this is for the stores. Okay, what is the site? So 181 is going to be allocated to S001 and S002. Okay, but here what quantity of allocation? We say 2:1 quota. So 600, 400 will be allocated to S001 and 200 is allocated to this particular second store. Similarly, if you select 182 and then go to the store process, 533 and 267. Okay, it has done again a allocation here 2:1. Maybe if quantity when it is determined, it will first do 2:1. Okay, but suppose some quantity is left over. Okay, that will be added to the store which is having the highest quantity. Okay, but that process is controlled by the allocation rule. So 533 will go to S001 and 267 will go to the second store. Now we need to find out the source determination. So select the DC, select the 181 and then select the distribution center. So here it will say yes, 500 is basically going to receive 600 pieces from the external vendor V1. Okay. And then select 182. And for this, if we try to find out, it will show 800 pieces is going to be delivered by vendor V1. So a source has been determined. Okay. Similarly, if you select the article 181 and then go to the store, I think somewhere here it might show what is the distribution center also. Okay. Now you see the internal vendor is also determined. Okay. For store S001 and S002, the store is coming as basically S500. In both cases, it's coming as S500. So, 2 things we are seeing here in the system. First, it is determining the source for the store level, okay, and then it is also determining the external vendor for the DC. That part has been done, and then we also have maintained the delivery dates for each of them. Okay. Now, we can check whether data is complete in all the respects. It will have a log. Okay. Sometimes maybe some missing data is there, then allocation table cannot be processed. But on the whole, allocation table should be complete. It will show one missing data as article hierarchy, but that's not to do with our data. So except that, everything should be okay. So go to logs. Okay. So go to logs, select the article, and then go to edit, go to logs. So logs is not shown here. Let us say select item the logs. Okay. Let us see in case suppose missing data is there. So let me first try to save the allocation table. Now it will say allocation table is complete. Notes and warning, however, exist. So whether it should be saved. Okay, but I want to check first the log. Select the log. Sometimes if the listing has not happened properly or listing data is not there, it will show up. Okay, or if the day what you entered is a not a working data, holiday, okay, it will show that. Okay. So log will help us to see whether everything is okay. So following exceptions were found. Distribution understanding latest generation date is not. Okay? So on the whole, there seems to be everything is okay, but this latest generation date is not before delivery date. Let me see. The system compares the delivery date with the latest possible generation date, that is, with the date by which follow-on documents must be created for the goods. Okay? The latest generation date is contained on the detail screen for the plant or distribution order. Generation date can be either calculated automatically or entered manually. If the delivery date is before the generation date, the dates can be met. Okay? So I do not think it is any serious issue. We will try to save it. If the error or if anything reflects in the procurement, okay, we can come back. So right now I select it as save it here and then save. So basically we have created here an allocation table. The table number is given. Table number as 11. Okay. Now this is the first phase of the planning. We created a table. We decided what articles, what quantity, what are the receiving stores, and for that what is the allocation and the source determination. This has been carried out. Now phase 2 will come. Okay. In phase 2, basically what we are doing, the procurement planning. Okay. Based on the allocation table, we want the system to create the follow-on documents. Follow-on documents are basically the procurement documents. The external procurement is planned using the document type ENB, and for the stores, it is planned using the UB. Okay. So now we are going to WA08, create the follow-on documents. So step number 3, create the follow-on documents. This will automatically generate the external and internal POs. Again, it will try to find out whether the vendors are same or different. Accordingly, it will try to create the orders. So let's do that. Now, let me go to the WA08, create the following documents, for which table we are creating this particular allocation, follow-on documents. So allocation table is 11. Okay. We want system to create the vendor purchase orders and the warehouse orders. Okay. Warehouse orders means here we have to understand it as stock transfer orders. What is the latest generation date? It is giving 31st03. Okay. Probably that's what it was giving. But latest generation date means what is the last delivery date for which you are planning the stock transfer delivery. Okay. We said it's going to be, I think, 9th of April. Okay. So we will say up to 15th of April. Okay. Whatever delivery date the stock transfer orders are there, for that you should create the follow-on documents. Okay. So latest generation date, you can enter the end period for including all the possible stock transfer orders in the process of creation. Okay. So once we enter this basic data, we will execute the following documents. So it is showing here 181, 182. Okay, 600 pieces to be procured and 800 to be procured from vendor B1. Okay, for whom it is going to procure? Vendor will deliver to DC. Okay, and what is the order type? We are going to use UB. Okay, UB, and then internal procurement will happen 181, 182, 181, 182 individually. Okay, but for that it has to determine order type as UB. Okay, but here there seems to be some missing data. It is not showing here what is the document type. Okay, so there seems to be some missing thing here. That's why they're showing generation date problem. So if I generate here, what it will do? It will only generate the external purchase order. It may not create the stock transfer order deliveries. So let's try to find out is there any missing data. Okay, then we will come back here. So let me come out of here. Okay. Now let me first go to the item category. Let us check what is the item category. Or let me see the allocation table WA08, WA02, the allocation table. Site delivery date is 9, DC delivery date is 7. Okay, so this is okay. So first it will come to DC on 7 and it will go to delivery date on the 9th of April.
Sir,
Ah,
why it is showing not active status?
active allocation table status not active means not yet released or not yet processed. Okay. Partially active.
Okay, not at
Not at
okay.
processed.
Okay, in that sense, okay.
Let me check. I have forgotten activity. The activity stated display the extent to which following documents have been processed. That means
Okay.
it is not a processed activity. So that will indicate.
Okay, then it should be like processing status.
Processed. Correct. So let me just check the item category. So go to logistic general. Merchandise distribution, and then allocation, allocation rule, allocation table, number ranges, item categories of the allocation table, so selecting C here, PO via DC will be as a stock transfer. So order type is MB, okay, and warehouse order type is UB. Vendor purchase order aggregate and stock transfer aggregating. Everything has been mentioned properly here. But let us see whether for UB we have given the configuration. Okay. ZS UB is what we created. Let me see whether if I change it to ZS UB, it will process. SLNB. We didn't create anyway the document, it is only UB only. Okay. So this UB has been assigned to our delivery type and also the DC. We have checked earlier also for the stock transfer order. So let me just once check it. So go to materials management. Go to materials management and then go to purchasing. Let me select the store order. Okay. Let me select the purchase order and then set up the stock transport order, assign delivery type and the checking. It's not an error here because we have done before also, but just I want to check it. Then we'll create one stock transfer order for 9th and then see where it is processed. So select the position, document type is UB, supplying site is S500. So S500, the data is there, so that is not an error. So let me go to again WA02 and then 11, select edit, then lots, incompleteness, listing, stock confirmation, allocation strategy. Let us select incompleteness. Okay, select the item. So let me select 181 and then go to edit and then select lots and then incompleteness or schedule. Following exceptions performed, the distribution center S500 latest generation date 2015-04-07. There seems to be some delivery date problem here. The system compares the delivery date with the latest generation date. That is with the date by which the following document must be created for the goods. Latest generation date is contained on the details of the screen for plant as a distribution center that you don't enter manually. The generation date can be either calculated automatically by the system if the item category is configured to allow this, or entered manually in the header screen of the allocation table. The system uses the latest generation date in the generating following documents to select entries from the work list, especially if the generation is on the background. If the latest possible generation date is not before the delivery date, following documents may possibly be generated too late, with the result the goods receipt would not arrive on the time. If the delivery date is before the last generation date, the date cannot be met. The allocation table item involved cannot be used for following document generation. If delivery date is same as the latest generation date, allocation table item is used for the following document. Check the dates, and if the following documents can be generated on time, we may have to change the dates of the generation program manually. 2015 0409. Site delivery date is 0904. DC delivery date is 0704. So if I try to process once again, create the following documents: vendor purchase order, warehouse orders, execute. Okay. The allocation table number 11. No worklist is selected, but if I give latest generation date as 0904 2015, it is creating the following documents. Okay, it's showing. So maybe I missed to see the data properly. So you can see here, order type is NB for external purchase order, and then internal purchase orders will be UV. Okay, so it has determined the data properly. So now let me change the font size to 12 here. So now it is determining what are the articles, what are the quantity, and it is planning for both. External vendor V1 will deliver it to S500, and then S500 internally will deliver it to the store. Here it will do the aggregation. What is aggregation? If suppose the same vendor is going to deliver both articles to the DC, instead of creating two external purchase orders, what it will do? It will create one single purchase order on the vendor. It will include both the items. Okay. Similarly, it is going to aggregate the articles for the stock transfer order. Okay. Each store is going to receive two articles, so it need not create four stock transfer orders. It is supposed to create only two stock transfer orders by aggregating the articles for the particular store. Okay. So that the aggregation is already maintained in the item category, in the configuration item category C. Okay. Now this is a work list, so I will just click here, create the work list documents, the following documents, generate the following documents. So now it will create one external purchase order on MB and two stock transfer orders, basically by aggregating the articles and the content. So let it process. Now it will show us the order number. Okay, what is the order? What we have processed. It is still processing. First time we are processing. So, okay. Now the process is complete. So end result is we can see the particular order number what it has processed. So if you just come here, maybe the screen is too big here. Again, let me change 10. So you can see here it has created one extra purchase order 4550106. Okay, this is the extra number purchase order number for the vendor B1. Okay, it is clubbing both the articles. That is basically basically 181 and 182. Okay? It is creating two stock transfer purchase orders 107 and 108. 107 is for one store and 108 is for second store. Okay? So basically we have got three purchase orders. So 4550, okay? 106, okay? And then 107 and 108. But external purchase order is basically 106. Okay? So for this 106, what will happen now? The third phase will start. Third phase is we have got the purchase order sent to the vendor, and vendor will deliver the article to the DC. Okay? So the first activity will be step number 4. Okay? Process the article receipt. Process the article receipt at the DC. Using MB01, okay, for the purchase order 106. And once you receive the article stock at the DC level, automatically it will create the delivery documents in the background, okay, for the stock transfer orders. So first let me go to MB01. Okay. Go to MB01. Movement type is 101 and then 45106 is the purchase order. Enter. So 600 pieces and 800 pieces are received for each of the articles in the distribution center. Yes, 500. And the storage location. Oh, okay. One is, okay, doesn't matter because we haven't done any configuration. Here you can still change. Okay? So I can change it to, let us see whether it will accept. We will take it as 006 cross-docking. But it doesn't really matter because we have not done any lean warehouse management still for S005. Okay? So we are receiving both these articles in the storage location 0006 and then we can save the goods receipt. So once the goods receipt has been saved, okay, what should happen? Based on our configuration in the distribution center profile, it should automatically create the delivery documents, okay, for the stock transfer orders. So we will just check the purchase order history for that particular the order. And then we can do the mass pitch here because there is no picking relevancy here because we are doing the cross-docking. So let me refresh it. Go to 107 and 108 few stock transfer orders to see whether the purchase order history has been updated. So go to ME22N. So let me pick up purchase order, other purchase order. We will say 107. Okay, 107. So still updating has not happened. So come back. We'll just refresh it. So again, I'm going to ME22N. Now you can see the purchase order history has been updated. Okay? For 107, the delivery document is 85029. Similarly, 85030 is the delivery document for the second stock transfer order. Okay. Now, these delivery documents are readily available for PGI because there's no need to do any kind of picking activity. Okay. So, I can just go to VL06G and then try to do the mass PGI. Okay. So, step number 5, VL06G. Okay. And then try to see whether both deliveries are coming. And for that, I can do mass PGI. Go to VL06G. Shipping point is going to be S500. The scheduled planned boost movement date is 31st/032, let's say up to 10th of April. Just I'm giving future date. So whatever planned PGI movement will be as per the delivery document. Okay. But actually we are doing the boost movement today. The actual boost movement date will ask us whether you want to record it on today's date or any other date. Okay. But we are as of now trying to find out how many deliveries are having the planned boost movement date of PGI up to 10th of April. Okay. Then execute. So no deliveries are selected. So 31st. So let me see the delivery document VL02N. Okay. ME22N. Select the delivery document. So picking, loading, status overview, boost movement data. Planned boost movement date is 9th of April 2015. Okay. Not yet started. Okay. So it is available for basically is currently being processed. Okay. So some kind of updating process will take it. So let us refresh it. So go to VL02N. So picking. Okay. So okay, but okay. But actually it is maintained cross docking. Picking quantity should have come here as not relevant. Okay. That's the reason probably it was not free, but that's not the reason because unless you enter the pick quantity, you cannot do the mass PGA. So mass PGA delivery document should be shown, but here it is showing pick quantity as available for entry. Okay. Again, it is still copying the default storage location 004. This is from 004 location, but it should be 006. So it is not applying the configuration what you maintain for our okay. Let me see the last material document where it has taken the stock entry MB03. So it has taken in 004 only. That means it is not able to alter the storage location. Whatever storage location initially given in the article master, that will be taken into process. But it doesn't matter. Okay, 004, because of 004, what happens is, it is becoming relevant for the picking. Okay? Basically, it is becoming relevant for picking because one of the article, okay, now I got the reason. Had we maintained 0006, okay, then, okay, that's not because anyway the processing rule is FT or CD. Accordingly, it should be available for processing. Okay, anyway, the start is in 004. According to our configuration, it should have been not relevant for picking because cross-docking, we are saying the delivery document is not, relevant for picking. In any case, right now what I'll do, I'll complete the picking process and then try to post the goods issue. So I'm entering here 400 and then 533 here, okay, for the second article and then post the goods issue. Similarly, I will do the posting for the second item. So let me check here in the system afterwards why it was not automatically available for mass PGF. Okay. Basically, it should have been not relevant for picking because we are using cross docking. Okay, basically, I think, yeah, this problem is coming in the push method. It is overruling the cross-talking, controlling what you're giving at the distribution center. So let me just go to the second delivery document, EL02N. So now I will process the second delivery, that is 30. Again, for this, I need to enter what is the pick quantity. Here it is 200 and here it is 267. But why it is showing less quantity here? Okay, correct. Okay, 267 and 533. Okay, that's fine. So 267 is the quantity for the second store. So now I'm going to do the fourth position. So individual deliveries, I've entered the pick quantity and then did the PGF. So finally, we are going to do the goods receipt, step number 6. Okay, the MB01 at the store level. At the store level. To complete the cycle, okay, we are receiving the articles at the store level. So we go to MB01. So purchase order is 45107. Okay, this is the purchase order. So you're receiving 400 pieces and 533 at M001 in the storage location 0001 and then save the goods. Similarly, you can do the stock receipt for the second stock transfer, that is 108. Add out plus details and then save. So basically it will not update it, save it. It will not update the history in the purchase order. That's why it says document flow for delivery cannot be. So now the stock has been received. Okay? So the remaining process, once the article is delivered to DC, then on it is a standard process. Okay? If it is a cross stock, we'll do the cross stock delivery, or if it is close to delivery. But up to the phase of distribution, okay, whatever planning we are doing, that is going to be different. Okay? In the case of full method, we don't have to worry about what allocation I have to do, which stores are coming into picture, how much quantity, because that is coming from the stores level. We are pulling all the requirements from the store and then we are aggregating them and then purchasing. But in the case of the table, in the case of push method, we need to start from the head level, head office level. We need to fix up the article and the quantity and then create an allocation table. Thereby, we fix up what quantity we are going to purchase from the vendor and how much of that will be allocated to various stores by using the allocation. So, in planning, two things will come extra. One is allocation table and one is the allocation rule. So, in today's session, we have seen the push method with the crosstalk, but actually, it was not coming with the mass PGI. So, I will just check that also in the system today. Now, we need to continue this allocation table for other scenarios. Okay? Like say, for example, already I have got an external purchase order created in the system. Okay? I have purchased it independently of the allocation. But assuming that the stock is going to come, okay, I'm going to use that purchase order document and the stock quantity for the allocation. Okay? That means I can create allocation table without any reference to any document. I can create an allocation table with reference to a purchase order. I also can create an allocation table with reference to a contract. Okay? Contract is something like we fix up over the next 2 months, 3 months, we are fixing a target with the vendor. We're going to supply so and so articles, so and so quantity. Okay? So when you create a contract, no particular delivery date is entered, but we are finalizing what articles we are going to purchase and what quantity we are going to purchase. Okay? But the contract release process will come. Okay? That means against the contract, you can create the purchase order and then you can start following the regular process. Till the all items are copied from the contract is over. But we must copy all these items from the contract before the expiry date. So we will also see how to create allocation table with respect to a purchase order or with respect to a contract. Some changes have to be done in the item category. Then we also try to see the communication process. What is the process involved in sending a communication to store based on the allocation table. After we finish the allocation table, remaining processes, we will go back to the process flow through with the article driven. So far what we are doing is consumer driven. We will try to configure a lean warehouse management for the storage location, and then we will see the process of flow through with the article driven basis. So that's the concept. So today we will stop the session and then we will continue tomorrow. Is it okay?